Today's episode of Wine Time Fridays is brought to you in part by our friends at Revora, CDA Gourmet, and Seasons of Coeur d'Alene.
It's been a long week, right? Are you ready to wind down? Why not? It's time for the Wine Time Fridays podcast with Shelley and Phil. Neither are sommeliers, but both have a deep passion for life, each other, and of course, delicious wine. And now, here to talk about this week over a glass of wine is Shelley and Phil. It's wine time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil. On this Friday, episode 255, March 7th, which ironically enough, Shelley, is the first Friday of the first of two Washington wine months.
Because they get two.
Why wouldn't they? Happy Friday, it's wine time.
Oh, yes it is.
Okay. We have with us actually a very special guest. I don't necessarily want him to hear that because he's a big head. This is someone who's very quiet. We've seen him a number of times, and it's really hard to get him to speak, but I think once we get a little wine, it'll be easier. We have John Freeman. John, welcome to Wine Time Fridays.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I would say he's the winemaker at Waterbrook, which he is. Mm-hmm. I would say he's the winemaker at Browne's Family Vineyard, which he is. I would also say he's the winemaker for Do Epic Shit, which is what we're going to be tasting through. Boy, I'm going to have fun saying that today. Which is under the Browne's Family Vineyard brand. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Absolutely correct.
Okay, so that we can get this out of the way, are there any other brands you're making wines for?
There are probably a few out there that I at least have a hand in.
Okay.
I think you said Pendulum. Did you say Pendulum?
I did now.
Okay, there we have it.
Okay.
I thought I heard you say that.
Yeah, well, I thought it anyway.
We make lots of different brands, but those are definitely the primaries.
Okay.
And the ones that we worry about.
Well, we're going to get right into this.
Fantastic.
Remember, this is not our room. No, be very careful.
Blam.
So, like our friend Sam Lang says, and we review this every time we open a sparkler, this is a loaded weapon. Once you take the basket off, always keep that thumb on and twist the bottle, not the cork. And the sigh of release.
There we go. That was perfect.
Thank you.
That's a big sigh.
Shelley, do you want to tell John the glasses that we're going to be tasting this sparkler out of? Can you hand me the smaller one?
Of course.
Thank you.
These are Andrea Robinson's The One. This is for the white.
This is our...
Andrea Robinson is a sommelier, and she designed these glasses. She was out of Napa.
Yep, Master Somm. Do you know her? You're from Napa.
I am from Napa, but I'm guessing maybe she was a generation or two maybe behind me, you know. The name doesn't sound familiar at all.
Maybe only one generation.
Maybe only one.
This is a non-vintage Brut sparkler. Do epic shit. I do not know what the... I have to put this right here. I do not know what the grapes are using this. I think we'll probably go over that in a moment. We should do a proper Wine Time Fridays toast to health, wealth, and abundance, gratitude, romance,
And peace on earth.
Oh, that's a fantastic toast.
I put a little bit more in this because we're not using this glass again. So
Right.
I just kind of...
Smart thinking.
I have my moments.
Oh, yeah.
Delicious.
And it is perfect temperature.
It is, yeah. Sitting in the car.
Yeah.
Can't do that in the summer.
No.
This is Method Champenois, which, you can kind of maybe go over that a little bit, but we'd love to know the grapes are better in this.
This is a Chardonnay. This is Chardonnay.
100%.
100% Chardonnay. The majority of the fruit from Estate Vineyards in Washington, or company-owned vineyards in Washington State. And interesting enough, we make all the base of it here in Washington State, but we do send it off to New Mexico, where we do the Method Champenois.
Wow.
Do you send it to Gruet.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
I never remember how to say that. Is it Gruet or Gruet?
Gruet.
It is Gruet.
Yeah.
They, by the way, are fantastic.
Oh, you betcha.
Wines as well. Fantastic.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
So is it just because of the equipment needed?
Exactly
Okay,
right. Yeah. We don't have the equipment they do, so it just makes a lot of sense instead of us buying all redundant equipment. You know.
And of course, you have
Where's
to.
Tourist doing theirs?
Tourist is doing theirs in Prosser. They've got all the equipment.
Yeah. There's a few places, even in Walla, that can do it.
Yeah, it's a big drop of coin, right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah. Very specific machines you couldn't really use for
Sure.
anything else.
Right, and so it actually pencils out better for you to send the juice down. Is that what you're doing? After crush?
It's not juice. It's the wine. We've already made it into wine.
Got
the
it.
base, the cuvee.
Still,
at this
okay,
point.
yeah.
And so we'll ship it off as needed for programs. So.
Do you head down there and do
Nope.
that? Okay.
We have a team of very, very talented people down there that really know a lot more about bubbles than I do.
Wouldn't it be so much more convenient if Gruet was a part of the Precept portfolio?
They are. That's a huge bonus. We would definitely be doing it locally. That's absolutely. We're very, very fortunate to have that, or we probably wouldn't be in the bubble business.
Yeah, for sure.
The bubble business.
The bubble business. Oh, hashtag the bubble business. Revora makes a sparkler, and theirs comes from California.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same sort of thing that, we want this to be a part of what we can sell because there's a huge need for it.
Yes.
I mean, it's like bubbles and rosé. You can do that every day.
Absolutely.
And bubbles has something over rosé, which is you can pair bubbles with almost everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty, and for I don't know, maybe for the people that don't drink a lot of bubbles, I personally drink a lot of bubbles. It's beautiful. The acid is absolutely mouth-watering.
I'm getting Granny Smith in this.
Oh, all day. Yeah, absolutely. And it's very mouth-watering. The bubbles make your mouth water. The acid makes your mouth water. It makes everything taste better. You can taste everything cleaner after a glass of champagne.
Especially French fries.
So a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever, it was Valentine's Day, and I said to Shelly, so what do you want for Valentine's Day? And she's like, really? You don't know? I want champagne and French fries.
Yeah, that could be a trendsetter.
There is actually a champagne and French fries day.
Not really.
Really, it's like about 10 days into the new year. We have it. We did our third now, or four.
Yes,
Third or fourth
that's pretty cool.
episode, annual now. We usually bring Sam Lang in, and the group is growing. We've had Mark and Sarah Lathrop this year.
Who are going to do a sparkler?
Oh yes, that's right. They are going to do over at Liberty Lake. Yep. And this year we have the Grady's.
Oh, that's fantastic.
From Bottle Joy. And we just keep growing our little group until we can't fit around the table anymore.
Until it's too much money in French fries.
Well, we had it at Seasons this year, so the fries were flowing.
There you go.
Yeah, it was a very, very fun episode.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Napa. Mm-hmm. Things have really changed down there.
Oh, big time. Yeah. It doesn't even look like the same city.
Yeah, and not all for the good either.
No.
Better, right?
Definitely not.
What are some of the changes that you've seen?
Some of the biggest is I grew up in the Caneros region of Napa, and it was it was basically you go down to the Cuttings Wharf or something, catch sturgeon off the docks, catch striped bass, fish, very rural. I grew up on a corner in Caneros that it was just literally cow pastures. Sometime, I couldn't even tell you when, it was very, very long time ago, 40 years ago maybe, Touchard started planting around there. Anthony Touchard started planting around there. And ironically, at the time, he was my pediatrician, so it was a small world. And he started planting all around that part of Caneros. And now, of course, it's world famous vines. Chardonnays, Pinot Noirs galore over there. But the biggest things that changed in rural Napa was it's not really rural anymore. There's anybody that has a 1 acre. I grew up on a little, maybe 1.5 acre parcel where my dad had built a home, and this is crazy. Just recently, a friend of a friend was in Napa visiting their family, and they sent me a video of the old house. And they went by in slow motion, just driving really slow by it, and they took a video. The whole yard was planted in grapes. It's only an acre and a half, and I don't know what they did either, because the front yard was the leach field, and the house is solid grapevines.
The terroir on that might be a little interesting.
I would like to think that it's not a leach field anymore, but I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
So that's changed, and then downtown changed. It was very Mayberry-like, in the late 70s, the early 80s. Downtown was small. The biggest store I believe we had was a Macy's or maybe a JCPenney's. As far as fine dining went, it wasn't really a mecca for fine dining back then. But now when you go, you see, chefs from all over the world, winemakers from all over the world, and tourists from all over the world. Just everywhere you go. I've never seen, Up Valley especially. Up Valley was, anything Brut the Fur, Up Valley, St. Helena. It was much different then. It was very rural. There was hardly anybody driving the roads up there. Now you couldn't go 30 feet without coming across a restaurant, maybe a wine tasting room. It's just different,
It's my stupid orbit thing. My wallet's right there. I'm about to throw it away and break it, snap it in half.
Good idea.
Probably keeping all that in too.
And back then, tastings were free.
Oh yes, the tastings were all free.
Now they want a half an arm or something.
Yeah, you have to donate something for sure. A car or something. But it's true. It was I believe it was a much smaller, a much tighter knit group. I remember it must have been Oakville. There was a bar there called The Cellar, and it was underground. It was some storefront on front, and you would go down to the bar, and inside the bar would be it was all cellar workers, all winemakers. People still wore the rubber boots from work. Literally, like BV would walk right across the street and just walk down there, and it was you kind of knew everybody. But now I think it would be very difficult to get around and really meet different people and. Different winemakers and different cellar workers, and it just is.
Blame Mondavi.
Yeah, we think Mondavi.
I know, right? No, it is that. I mean, but it's. How about Washington though? It's really evolved.
Oh my Lord. Yes. Washington. When I moved here, it was still, I guess, a fledgling wine industry. Although it wasn't, but it was still starting. I moved to Walla Walla, and there was maybe 33 or 34 wineries in Walla Walla at the time. This is 2002. And now there's, 160, 170. I don't know exactly how many. Same deal. It's really hard to meet. Even though we have plenty of events, Taste Walla Walla, Taste Washington events where you can be in the same room with some of these people. There's just so many,
Doesn't it seem still? Shelley says this over and over. Walla Walla is what Napa was 25 years ago.
Oh, way more. In the 70s.
Yeah. It's still. I feel it still's got that small town feel.
Sort of.
But there's wineries everywhere.
There is.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but it's changed a lot. I've heard stories of before I got here, downtown was half the storefronts were not even occupied. It's not an issue now. Storefronts are
mostly your tasting rooms, right? Or wine shops or bottle shops.
Anywhere within 2 blocks of Main Street. Yeah, it's lots and lots of wine tasting rooms. There's also lots of gift shops and lots of clothing stores, stuff that really, it was not there when I moved to Walla Walla, that's for sure.
Interesting.
So that part's good.
Yeah, it's growing up. The town's growing up for sure.
And there's growing pains, I'm sure. But
you betcha.
Like anything.
Yeah.
It's still, Walla Walla, I think, is one of our very favorite regions. Oh, Red Mountain. We got Malbec coming out of Red Mountain. But, Washington in general is making unbelievable wines, and they can stand up against most anybody, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
This sparkler is, what do I have down here, Shelley? $21 at Pilgrim's Market. $21. $21 for this sparkler.
It's worth every dollar.
It is.
Yeah,
So
And then some.
inexpensive.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's tasting like a champagne you'd get for triple that amount. And it's just so cool. We should take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to move to a white from the sparkler.
Well, it's a white sparkler, so.
No, it's not.
It's not a white sparkler. No, this was a white sparkler.
Okay, I'm keeping all of that in too.
Welcome back to Wine Time Fridays, episode 255, publishing on March 7th. It's
Yeah.
not really March 7th.
Shelley
I
always
have to
wants
be
to
honest.
peek behind the curtain. This is still 2023 when we're sitting down.
Yeah.
No.
But look,
What is it? 18 degrees. That should show you, kind of tell you when we're recording because,
we hope it's getting warmer.
yeah, it will be getting warmer. We are here with John Freeman, and we have someone peering over the computer, Logan with Precept. We ran into Logan on a number of occasions with certain tastings and things like this. And all in all, I think he's a good guy, but not good enough to get on the episode. Yet. We are opening now. No, I just noticed that. We are opening a 2024. Shelley, a 2024.
Wow.
I would say 6 months ago, this fruit was still on the vine.
You would be absolutely correct.
Yeah, give or take something like that. So this is a little Sauvignon Blanc. And if I remember correctly, 100%.
It is.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
I searched high and low for where you can find this, how much it is, and then realized,
Pass the bottle down.
oh, I thought he was, hey, 2024 Sauvignon Blanc. Logan, you're going to have to get up off your butt. He doesn't even have his other glass done yet. This is not on the shelves yet. We are $15, give or take, retail. And
That's amazing.
you will find this probably, look, this brand we're seeing everywhere now.
Yeah. It's taken off.
It is. And it's not just on the shelves, it's on a big stack.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know Cynthia
Branding.
over at Fred Meyer is doing a nice job of pouring this for some tastings and things like that. When is this going to be released? Because we're really close to that, aren't we?
It's very, very soon.
Last week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, in real time or next week in.
Real time, and it'll land our distributor next week.
You will see this on the shelves as it is out there now.
Yes, you definitely will. And this is a fun wine. This is the first year we've done the Do Epic Shit Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
And so it was really fun project to do. When you taste this wine, you can see it's really, it's got a lot of stone fruit in it. It's got a lot of apricot. We
It's
tried
got a
it.
terrific
you're
nose.
American.
Yeah,
A terrific
yeah.
nose.
And it's very Washington style. It's not a New Zealand or an Australian style.
No.
Very Washington-esque and 100%.
Hashtag cheersing.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheersing.
Yeah, I would not make a sound over there, Logan. Go thump. We did a port and port style and fortified wine episode on the 7th of February, and we had these little glasses and they go clunk.
Like, wow, that was what a
And
celebration.
Martino's going, oh, that's not the right glass. That's really good too.
It's a nice wine. I like the Sauv Blanc a lot.
It's
what-
a really good patio wine.
Oh,
The patio pounder.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would drink this even in the snow on the patio.
You have
That-
probably.
What prompted you to go with Sauv Blanc?
Well, it's really, we're trying to diversify the line. We've had Do Epic Shit Red Blend. We've had Do Epic Shit Cabernet Sauvignon. And this is just kind of extension. I think that people that are, keeping up with wine trends realize that white wines are on the uptick. There's no question
Yeah,
about
for
Sauvignon
sure.
Blancs, Pinot Gris, Chardonnays even. And so it just seemed like a natural extension to the line.
This is really, really good. This is, I'm not going to say too good, but it's very easy drinking.
It
Yes.
is really easy drinking.
Are we at 13%, 13.5 on this?
No, it's actually a little less. so it's our goal. This along with some other projects we're doing. We're really trying to manage on our pinks and our white wines, trying to manage the alcohol because it can get out of hand really easy. You know?
So you're picking it. What are the bricks when you're picking these then?
The Sauv Blanc starts getting picked around 20 bricks.
20.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it depends. It's site driven. It really depends on the acid more than the sugar. But some places will get up to 22 bricks. But we're not hanging it out there at 24, 25 bricks.
Like you might with a Chard, possibly.
Yeah. With a Chardonnay and Sterling Reds, you would do that. But it doesn't make for a good wine either. It makes for a flabby.
And it drives up the alcohol too.
It
now
really
you have
does.
to deal with that when you're making it.
Yes, and it's not for people that like Sauv Blanc, and plenty of people love Sauv Blanc. It's not high alcohol. If you can feel it coming out of your nose, it's not right. It's just the alcohol, not the wine.
I've had both. I'm not proud of it, but I've had both. I was gonna say we have had some recent rosés. We had a rosé from France, wasn't it? Like 13.8.
Yeah, that was surprising from France.
Yeah, and I'm like, and what the heck, It kind of surprised us a little bit.
Yeah.
So now we've gotten used to seeing the high numbers. 14.8 on the reds, 15.1 on a, it's like, come on. They're so hot. They don't necessarily taste. You don't taste the heat.
Yeah.
But 15.1 is 15.1.
That's right.
I mean,
and it is. And wine is not really the go-to drink if you want a lot of alcohol. There's spirits. There's other things you could have out there. Fortified wines. Port styles, fortified wines. There's all kinds of stuff. But wine should be enjoyed with food. Traditionally, that's what wine's for.
Yeah.
And so sometimes. When I'm eating dinner, I don't want to be blasted by the time dinner's over,
Or when you're cooking it. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to make dinner now.
Cooking is totally fine.
I need to go lie down.
Right?
Well, that brings up a really good segue. I think the sparklers we kind of know the pairings on the sparkler. How about this Sauvignon Blanc? What's your go-to for a food pairing on this?
For a wine like this does for me at least, it has a lot of the stone fruit flavors. Of course, Sauvignon Blanc is notorious for going with shellfish. It's very common. Anybody that's been to a seafood restaurant has probably had the combination before. Sauv Blanc for me is either shellfish or just out of the bottle. I think it's a very nice wine to drink when it's hot outside. You can get it cold in the fridge. It can take the cold better than some other whites can take the cold, for me at least. And so it's just a nice wine you could take out on the patio and drink. Throw the ball for the dog while drinking it. You don't even have to put it in a glass. You know,
a little shout out to Lucy.
You don't have to put it in the glass.
Yeah, you put it solo cup. You know, there's no problem.
I mean, you know,
A straw.
seriously, this is really everything I like in a Sauvignon Blanc. I lean towards New Zealand as kind of my, I guess, favorite. But
Yeah.
It doesn't really mean anything. I just love the New Zealand style Sauvignon Blanc.
Sometimes they're a little too aesthetic.
They are, and they're a
Yeah.
little too over grapefruity. This, you got the kiss of the grapefruit.
Yeah.
I think you got the kiss of
Mostly
that,
stone fruit.
and so nice on the nose.
Yeah, it is a very, like I said earlier, it's a very Washington wine. It doesn't have the grassiness that you sometimes get with Southern Hemisphere. Very approachable. There is, it's not residual sugar driven to where, you would get a headache or a hangover or whatever the case is from that stuff.
What, 0.5% or something?
In this?
Yeah.
No, wait.
Bone?
Yeah, this is 2 grams a liter.
Okay.
So that's,
Wait, I was told there would be no math.
sorry.
I mean, it's funny. Up in Canada, they give you these percentages per liter.
Yeah,
And I'm like, okay, that means nothing to me. Because they're like, yeah, it's about 4.5. What?
And you're like, 4.5 what?
Yeah, right.
What's the unit of magic? Yeah, it's funny. We do that mostly because it makes it sound like really smart. Like I just said 2. I don't even know what that means. Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Shelley, you're all awfully quiet over there. We need you to ask a question.
Oh, you want me to ask a question? All right.
I told you we're going to have to pry it out of you.
What question should I ask? So one of the things that I was just thinking, though, is if you have a red wine with 15.1% alcohol and you age it for 30 years, does the alcohol go down at all?
Theoretically, it could, but it really depends on the closure. So, I think we all know that part of the aging of wine is due to the oxygen, penetrating the cork. So, if oxygen is able to penetrate the cork, alcohol is able to come out. But I think it would be such a small amount that you
Wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter. There would be a measurable amount, but it wouldn't be enough unless the cork failed. But you wouldn't drink it anyway. If the cork failed,
No. That's interesting. Yeah, we've got some wines in our cellar, and I keep seeing the humidity because we're trying to keep it okay. It's in a basement with foundation walls, so it's a perfect place to store wine. But it was at 45% humidity, and now it's like 28. And I'm like, man, what? I've got a big old 5-gallon bucket of water in there.
Yeah.
Just trying to get, but I might have to get a humidifier.
Sure.
Because
Let me look at some influencer campaigns.
There you go. Shelley's on the prowl for a humidifier. For you companies out there that are looking to get your name out there. Shelley, the queen of influencing. So you do make wines for a lot of different brands.
Sure. Yes, that's true.
My question is, how challenging is that? When you're going from brand to brand, you have the vehicle that it's in, whether it's an oak barrel or concrete or stainless.
And you don't want them all to taste the same.
Yeah, you have to try to adhere to the style of the brand.
Yes.
I'm not saying difficult, even though I know it's probably somewhat difficult, but how challenging is that?
There's challenges to everything in this part of it, but fortunately, I had started off with Waterbrook Winery many years ago, and Waterbrook was established. It had a profile that was working very well for it. I've been the winemaker for Browne since there's been a Browne family, and so we were able to kind of create the profiles just based on feedback. And as far as managing in the winery, it's shockingly not that difficult.
Okay.
Because we have certain programs, lots and lots of programs. Like Browne did our barrel programs, 22-month programs in barrel. A lot of our other programs, it's a better way to put it. French oak is the king for Browne family. Cigar box stuff.
At $2,500 a barrel.
Yes, yes.
Give or take more, maybe like $3,000.
It's ridiculous how much they are now.
Yeah.
But some of our other programs are American oak driven programs. Pendulum is, Waterbrook is American oak driven. So really by barrels we can separate a lot, but really it's mostly the vineyards. We have Browne top. It drinks first.
Yeah.
And so when we go out to purchase fruit for Browne family, it's all either fruit we own or longer term contracts we've been with for a long time. We can kind of go, you know what? I know that this vineyard is going to go to Browne. I just don't know where it's going to go in Browne yet. And so you treat it like it's going to go to, just about any given Browne program. For the first year, they all live a similar life in barrels, and then we start blending after that for the next year.
Since we're still on white, and Riesling Day is on the 13th, so next Thursday, do you have a Riesling that just is either a go-to or one that just kind of smacked you in the face like, wow?
I really... To tell you the truth, this is sad, but it's been a long time since I've had just a mind-blowing Riesling. It was one of the things I really loved about the state when I moved up here. I thought a lot of people were making a lot of really nice Rieslings at an incredibly good price.
Yeah.
Now I feel like a lot of Rieslings are quite quite sweet. It's like the sweetness levels are going up on them, and I'm not sure why. It's people like sweet. I
Well,
guess.
I think that's exactly why. I think the consumer is like, by the way, we're here at the Business Zone recording, and it's got all sorts of offices that people work from. And one of the people that were working here, we know, and she's like, I kind of like more of I don't really like the dry stuff. I think the consumer, especially
But she likes sweet reds.
Yeah. So
Like
that's
Cabernet. So her idea of sweet
I wouldn't
is a
say
little
Cabernet is
different.
sweet. I would say
I know, that's why her idea of sweet is
right.
different.
It's more fruity, but
Fruity,
not
yeah.
necessarily sweet, right?
Yeah.
And that's that funny thing about wines that come off as fruity, people take as sweet.
Absolutely.
And they're not sweet, but
Absolutely.
they have that fruit on it, which is what people really enjoy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I love a good, nice fruity Merlot or
betcha.
Gamay is very, even Pinot, very fruit forward,
Yeah.
you know?
But they luckily there actually is a ridiculous amount of residual sugar in wines now. I mean, it's unbelievable how much wine has residual sugar, and I'm talking wine, and not Washington wine or
Just
Anyway.
in general.
in general.
Yeah.
And you're saying it's the residual sugar that can give you the headache?
It doesn't help. I think it's ultimately probably the alcohol and whatever else is in the bottle that maybe you have an allergy to. There's hundreds of compounds in wine.
Right.
But sweet is, you usually don't have like half a can of Coca-Cola. If you're going to drink Coca-Cola, you're going to drink the whole can.
Unless
It's kind of the same with wine.
Yeah.
People will tend to have a second glass or a third glass, or even, if it's sweet, they'll keep on and keeping on. There's truth in it.
Well, so that brings up a really good question.
So you don't like any of the Rieslings?
I just don't have one that I should, that I would point out right now.
Yeah.
Do you think they stopped making a lot of Rieslings there and
Well-
put in other fruit?
It's true that a lot of Riesling's been ripped out of Washington State, thousands and thousands and thousands of acres.
What are they replacing that with typically?
Usually just whatever's hot and happening at the time. It's
That's sad.
Trendy.
It's
They're
trends,
gone.
yeah. People, I mean, you guys remember maybe 15 years ago when everything got ripped out and everybody planted Syrah. And it was like a huge mistake.
It was.
So the reasons that lots of it have been pulled up, but the Chateau, they were up to maybe 2 million cases a year of Riesling, something like that.
Chateau Saint Michel.
Yes. And they're not there anymore. They're just not selling that much Riesling.
That's interesting. Well, so
It's just
Cab Sauv is what people are mostly Cab Sauv. I mean, Cabernet.
But obviously John would know more.
Logan thinks I can read from the other side of the table.
Right?
As big as I could.
Next time, Logan, I'll need 23 point easily. Cabernet Sauvignon is still kind of the king, right?
yeah.
I mean, that and
Hands down.
Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And there are people who are ABC, anything but Chardonnay. It's like, come on. You're dogging Chardonnay. There's nothing wrong with Chardonnay. There are other wines out there.
Absolutely.
How do you balance that with consumer trends and what you need to do that's true to you,
Yes.
the winemaker,
Yes.
as well as the brands that you're making wines for?
I'm in a very, very fortunate position of being at a facility that makes lots and lots of brands and lots of flavors.
Sure.
And so, of course, every winemaker has their favorite and something that they really think is what they drink when they go home. It's your stuff, it's your buddy's stuff, it doesn't matter. But I would also say that every winemaker has a couple of things they make that they don't really care for,
But it sells.
But it sells.
Yeah.
And so we're fortunate enough to have really both worlds. There's certainly some wines that I'm not drawn to. Certainly ones I am drawn to and profiles I'm drawn to, but we have so many different things to make. It's never a problem to find wines that I really enjoy.
Well, I know of a person that has a winery that they probably have 2 or 3 or 4 glasses of wine during the course of the day. And I couldn't do that. I mean, we have to get work done. We have had recordings when we're like noon or 1 in the afternoon. We had one with Kevin a couple weeks ago that we recorded at 1 in the afternoon on a Saturday. And it kind of can kill the Saturday if you're not careful.
It really can.
And
Yeah.
so, you know, you kind of have to pick and choose your poisons.
Yes.
With that said, this is not a bad industry to be
No,
in.
no. There's worse occupations to have.
There
that's
really
for
is.
sure.
So, since you grew up in Napa, what was your gateway wine?
This is embarrassing, but it wasn't Napa wine. The gateway wine
It was a Burgundy, wasn't it?
It was a Safeway brand, I believe.
Really?
Like, and you could buy
brand.
2-gallon jugs for $5. And I don't. They were non-vintage, non.
So it was a Burgundy.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Call it back then.
it was
Chablis Burgundy.
Yeah, it could have been Burgundy or Chablis. I think it was like Mountain Rose or something. I don't know, whatever. No, but they're very sweet, about 11% alcohol. Probably equivalent to some box wines now.
Probably.
But glasses, I guess.
I'm guessing
back then.
maybe not quite as good as some box wines
I mean,
now.
mine-
They're
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
Mine was Almadine Merlot. So
Oh yeah. Well,
similar.
my first Napa wine that I was given, the first bottle I was ever given was Estancia Chardonnay from
Really?
Monterey. The base
Nice.
from Monterey, and it was fun. And they were this was many years ago, and they were making all the wine for Ritz Carltons. It was the Estancia was
Sure,
the
sure,
Ritz
sure.
Carlton whatever wines, and so I remember there's I don't know, we were bringing in truckload after truckload after truckload coming up from Monterey, bringing us the wine. And we'd bottle it for weeks, and months, and every single day, you learn a lot about wineries, really early on. But every single day, everybody got a bottle of Estancia, and so by the time it's done, we all got 2-3 cases of
Sure,
Estancia.
yeah.
I didn't have a corkscrew at the time, but I got one. I got an Osso, I think.
Oh, the Ossos are the best.
Yeah.
So, I don't think we've ever talked about this on this podcast. What my gateway? I have 2 gateways.
Oh, maybe not.
One is a white Zinfandel from Sutter Home.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it was probably 83.
Huh?
My uncle went through Napa, came back with a bunch of wine, and
Yep.
that was one of them.
Yes.
And that was my
Sutter
gateway
Home's not
then.
in Napa, though, right?
Well, he went
Sutter
to-
Home-
It's in St. Helena.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and so that was my first gateway. My second gateway was about 2002, Shelley, Mercelet Chardonnay.
A little different.
A little different. And that has got me on this current wine journey.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So
I think the white Zin, I think Sutter Home saved Zinfandel.
maybe, I think, but
They certainly
it's like
saved Old Vine Zinfandel. It would have been all
What
ripped
year
out.
was that?
83-ish.
Yeah.
Because I used to sell Zinfandel from Murphy's, California, in 79, something like that.
Yeah.
It was 15.5% alcohol back then too.
Oh, yeah. It
It was
yeah.
a big one.
Jeez.
Yeah, even in the 2000s, there's still plenty of them in the 15s and 16s.
That's amazing.
yeah.
But when you talk about Mondavi and Sutter Home and these wines that kind of started people drinking wine,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't good.
Yes.
And not that Mondavi was bad wine,
Right.
But the Sutter Homes, it's like listening to pop music and then realizing I don't like Taylor Swift anymore.
Right.
I want to listen to a little bit of John Mayer and maybe
Yeah.
go up to Jamie Cullum and go now to some more mature music, and that's what you do with wine.
Without question.
Yeah.
Yeah, our palates do mature. There's no question about it.
Yeah, we had when we lived up in Athol. We didn't have any wine at the house.
Yeah.
I was down here in town. Shelley's like, we could use a Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Yellowtail, wasn't it?
Critter
And I'm
wine.
like, and I said,
Whoa.
oh, it was something like that. And I
Did I dump it
said,
down
you
the
know, I don't remember really ever having this. It can't be that. And now that my wine glass is empty,
It was that bad.
this is what Shelley did. She went like this, gross, down the sink, take it back. I'm like, probably not going to take it back. Let's just dump it down the sink. And call it good.
right? It's not worth the gas money to go replace,
We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to actually move to some epic red.
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome back to Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil and John Freeman. I think we're just getting into the groove right now. We have tasted through a non-vintage Method Champenois Brut sparkling wine. That's about $21 at Pilgrim's Market, among other places. But Pilgrim's, they're a nice friend of ours on the podcast. And we've had the Sauvignon Blanc, which was released about a week or two ago, $15, give or take, on your store shelves. And now we have this 2022 Du Epic Cabernet Sauvignon.
And Browne.
Yes, this is all under the Browne Family Vineyard brand. Are we going to do a rinse pour or no?
Yeah, I don't think we need to.
Okay, perfect.
Now you gotta chug it, you know?
I'm a dumb bucket.
I knew that would never get used.
Me too. But we try to be professional, John.
Oh, no, I feel like this is professional.
There you go, good. Oh,
I like
well, you
having
haven't had
off-camera
Sauvignon
guests.
Blanc yet, Logan.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. I had it earlier.
Think all day, right?
You know what?
Why not?
Logan's sitting over there just minding his own business.
He is my right after
Oh,
this.
look at me. Oh, look at me. Okay. And look at me. I poured in the wrong stupid glass. Well, there you go. I've got a little bit of everything in my
Fixed.
glass.
I'm just here to get John in trouble.
Well, I think he can do that on his own.
Doing it for years.
Oh, God, this has got a great nose. Also 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, hashtag cheersing.
Cheers.
Boom.
Cheers.
Thunk. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so. This is $22 at Pilgrim's.
Oh, yes.
22
I think I
freaking
was there
dollars.
today. Was I there today? Yeah, I was there today. Yeah, I seen it was on top of a table or a display, yeah.
Did you feel like a superstar when you saw your wine there on their
Oh, I hung up by there for the longest time. I was like, hey, bud, check it out. Yeah, Logan had to drag me out. It was embarrassing.
Look,
Grab him by the ear. Yeah, that's the winemaker. See ya. So many wines that I kind of gauge as wines I'm really going to like are wines that take me a little time to actually sip.
Yes.
Because the nose is so good. Now we don't have that luxury because we're recording a podcast, but this would be one of those wines. The nose on this is freaking awesome.
I totally agree. Would you call it epic?
I would call it epic. And the whole word, no asterisk.
That's good. That's very good.
You see the difference?
Yum. Okay. Where were we? This is really good.
Yeah.
Tell us. Okay, so how long has Du Epic Chick? How long has that been out? How long have you been making this? Logan is just dying to say something over there. Or he's about to
He's
sneeze.
gagging on the wine, I think. So,
Just enjoying every drop that John makes.
Du Epic
voice
Shit
off
has been
screen.
around for a while. It's really the Andrew Browne, the owner of Browne Family. It's kind of his creed, you know. He's been living by the Du Epic Shit
Motto.
his version of it, and
Yeah,
his motto
yeah.
for since Precept's been here, and so we've dabbled, I suppose, with we've had stamps and shirts and ball caps, you know, and the works. The first bottlings of Du Epic Shit were very small. They were for tasting room only. Just
Okay.
little small amounts.
Is that more your focus group sort of thing then?
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Usually, it's just you have to have something in the tasting room that you can't get at a store.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
And something in the tasting room that you don't have to charge an arm and a leg. Well,
Yes.
first of all, so do you pour these wines at the Waterbrook tasting room?
No.
Okay.
Only Browne Family tastings. We have several
in
Browne.
Walla Walla.
We have a Walla Walla, Seattle, Spokane. You know, you name it.
Got it.
We've got several. I think five Browne tastings now.
Okay.
So they're. When it first started, it was only at the Browne tasting room in Walla Walla, of course. You know, just small amounts of it. I don't know how we were feeling about the label, you know, and you know, maybe a soft start, but big enough to deliver to stores really started with the 21 vintage, to where we're making enough to go to groceries, and of course then we don't sell it in the tasting room.
Right.
and as the programs grow, and with the juice that we're putting in these, we're really hoping this is gonna expand. It's not the time where wine brands are expanding. We're not living in that time, but
We've had that conversation before we went
Yeah.
on sort of a love. I'll tell you what. Right now, I can do this. I can do this, and I can say,
But there's a message from Kevin.
no, it's not Kevin. Oh, it
It
is.
is Kevin.
Kevin, we just had lunch with Kevin.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hang on. They still haven't shown up.
Give Kevin a heart attack. He's gonna be like,
That's funny.
Just joking. We're recording with him on Saturday.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. Wine is like music. He doesn't know the wines that we're having.
Right.
And he'll do a drum riff
Yes.
to it.
That's what he was saying. Yeah, he was saying.
It's really fun.
That's what. Yeah, he said it was pretty cool.
Oh, I played music with him for probably 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
At the church.
Yeah.
And I tell people he plays the drums how I would play the drums if I played drums.
Right.
And I'm on the piano, and I turn the click off in my head, and I'm just watching him because I know what's coming.
Yeah.
And I played to that.
Oh, that's
it was
fantastic.
just so much fun.
That's awesome.
for reference, there are, if you want to talk to John about, there are 2 do epic shit, and they're full shit wines.
Not funny.
Full shit. At the tasting rooms that are tasting room only. And they're totally different wines than what's in wholesale.
As I was doing a little research on this, I did see that. I did see a lot of merchandise that you guys put out for this too. This is obviously a brand you can really jump on
That's
with that
what-
whole
yeah.
thing.
It's so Browne is the sorry if we're still recording. Browne,
I'm not going over there to pause if that's what you're asking.
and as you will. Browne's the fastest growing premium brand in the Northwest. It's the #1 selling premium brand in the Northwest, which qualifies as anything 15 and above. But really, Browne averages a price point of like $20 retail. So that's a lot of that's a high mark, and it's growing at double digits, and it has for the last 7 years in a row. That doesn't really happen in the wine industry right now.
Well-
There's like 1 or 2 other brands that are in black.
And so this was one of the conversations that I had with Shelley on the way here, is that I'm hearing that the wine industry is, it's not showing the growth that I think people would like to see.
Yeah, it's the
And
opposite of growth.
I'm not going to lie. So John and I have been talking for 2 years doing this, okay? And I was really hoping for some Browne family vineyards and some Waterbrook. We use Waterbrook Chardonnay as one of our house whites. One of like 2.
Yeah. I believe it. I was hoping to cover Waterbrook too.
Okay. And then
We can always come back and it's an excuse to come back.
well, for sure. But and the do epic shit, I haven't necessarily. We've tasted it.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Yeah.
But for the price, I hate to even say for the price point on these because that somehow diminishes what we're drinking.
Right.
And I don't mean to do that at all. This is really good juice. I'm sorry. This sparkler I would put up against anything. The Sauvignon Blanc knocked my socks off.
Yeah.
And this I wouldn't have drank except for recording.
Right.
Drank?
Would have drunk.
What have That's the English major over here. Shelley Webb. But we have to drink this. But the nose are so good on this.
Yeah.
And so
One of the things I would tell you that, for background, and I'll be happy to stroke John's ego because he makes my job way easier by making amazing juice. Is that Andrew has always had a philosophy that he wants the greatest QPR that we can create. So the
Right.
quality price ratio. Our company doesn't make triple-digit wines for price points.
No.
We do.
It's
John
a
makes the best goddamn juice he can make
yeah.
from the selection of options we're picking from that we want to sell to people so people get to drink them. It's accessible juice, and if it's $15 on the shelf, Andrew wants to drink like 20, and that's usually what
Yeah.
I'm
If
telling
not
you,
more.
this sparkler is tasting like a champagne. You're not going to touch
And
it. Champagne for $60.
John has the lovely task of making that happen across a wide selection
Yeah.
of Washington wines that we make.
But-
And it's not an easy task by any means, but he obviously does a really good job.
Caberret's been making killer bubbles for a long time, you know, for a long time, and really up until Laurent was there up until very recently. You know, the guy that Laurent Garay was still working there up until recently. So
Yeah. We love, just love those sparklers, and they are good people. I've never met them. I know Kurt and Joy were down at their place in New Mexico, and he sends me a picture. Look what we're having. I'm like,
Look where we are.
son of a bitch. Why aren't we even friends?
Do you think what's happening in the wine industry has anything to do with 2020 when everyone overconsumed?
What people consumed then was for us was remarkable. People drink a lot of box wine and a lot of canned wine during COVID, a tremendous amount because it was readily available.
So that's
they're not seen in public, like
They're not seen.
Yeah, I mean, what? But
It's a part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to add 2 cents, guys, I thought you were asking me. But
We're gonna have to bring Logan onto camera.
clearly,
have you guys had a podcast or done a podcast on who's drinking at
No.
this point? You guys should look into that. So in terms of like the baby boomers, were the largest swath for us for alcohol consumption, particularly wine.
Currently, too.
Yes, but that is, it's being.
We're losing.
We're dying off.
yeah.
We're losing some of
We're
those.
losing
Yes.
some of them.
Yeah.
Us.
At
I
a
guess we're
rapid
losing
rate.
some of us.
And the backfill of that is Gen Z. And
Which are who? What?
so they're like 25 to 20 to the 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
That makes sense
They're the
because I
largest
feel like
consumer populace out there.
I feel like they're going back to the home.
They don't like alcohol. They don't.
But
wanna
they're
drink.
drinking wine.
Not that much. No. Sorry. Well,
Yeah.
not confuse it.
I
They're
know what you're saying.
they care about health. So they want, they're searching out brands that are providing them lower calorie, less headaches if that's even a possibility. They care about causes. They care about things that are punchy, new. They have no brand loyalty whatsoever. So we make a variety of things that fit those categories.
Punchy.
And we make some that don't, that we're trying to still keep people attached to. But that is, I think, that'd be worth something to look at and talk about. Because that is definitely what is driving.
If you guys are
industry.
making wine and don't jump on any of the causes bandwagon, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Because to me,
You're
it's-
overcaused out.
I am
Yeah.
so overcaused out. I am completely, and I would hashtag that as well. I'm caused out.
Yeah.
But I do know that segment that you're talking about, that demo, is that way. But I believe that window is it's not gonna get any bigger, and it's just gonna keep going at that demo. And at some point, they're gonna realize, it's just not that worth it.
Well, it's not like alcohol is a new thing. It's been around for over 3,000 years, right?
Yeah.
So it may do this, but
Yeah.
we're always going to drink.
Yeah.
But when the Surgeon General comes out and says that it has links and cause to cancer, it's
Thank you.
there's lots of things that are not.
How about that
well.
Big Mac?
But I mean, wine sales were declined so much before they even brought that up.
Yeah, and
the
that's
Surgeon
it's just
General
not,
didn't
it's
help,
not
but
assisting. But all the Gen
Yeah.
Zs follow all of this information, and whatever other talking head wants to say something. I'm not saying the Surgeon General is talking head. I'm just
Well, they should drink to not.
Yeah.
It has a lot
Yeah,
of resveratrol.
yeah.
There you go.
so sorry. That's just.
and I gotta think price is playing some role in it too, because. I mean, there's a lot of people that are 25 that don't even have a job.
Yes.
And they're just
That's
like,
probably not your demo.
no, it's definitely not. But
Rhinelander, if they still make it.
was that a fortified product or
No, Rhinelander beer is
Oh,
is
okay.
a very, 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 very green Rainier beer.
Okay. In what, $3 a 12 or something?
Back when I was young and my family only drank Rhinelander.
Yeah.
Probably.
I've never
Yeah.
heard of it.
But I mean, that's who you're talking about is probably not your target.
No, definitely
demographic.
not. No, yeah.
But we run
Since
it,
it can't
that's
pay for
definitely
it.
like when you're talking about a company like we said that's looking at what we need to develop, and for the size that we are, I think we pivot pretty quickly in the industry. Much to John has to be challenged with that, but it's definitely the biggest issue on most companies' doorsteps is how do we find something that the Gen Zs want to drink?
Right.
Because we're going to lose all the baby boomers, and it needs to be backfilled with another consuming populace, and if they're just straight up consuming less, we have a significant challenge.
Yeah, well, it's the beauty of business. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to do some business and wrap this thing up, as Shelley likes to say. Okay, welcome back to Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil and John Freeman and a sometimes voice that you can't see.
It's sort of like Wine Library.
That's right. Logan Willoughby. Did I say that right?
You did.
Boom. Just a little fun thing because Kevin Olsenberg had texted me. I feel like I need to share this with the masses. He had said, as long as they don't get lost, I said they still haven't shown up. And John and Logan had a big laugh. I think even Shelley had a giggle. And then she thought that was mean, which is Shelley. And then I said, just joking. Kevin said, not funny. Well, okay, kind of funny. And wouldn't have surprised me at all.
Thanks,
John,
Kevin.
you enjoy blending wines as well.
Absolutely.
These are 100% Cab Sauv, 100% Sauvignon Blanc, and 100% Chardonnay on the Sparkler. But you enjoy blending as well.
Every winemaker does.
So this brings up our Pilgrim's Market Wine Word of the Week. Do you believe we've never done blending?
We haven't? That's
255 episodes. We've
Wow.
never done blending. Yeah. Well, we only really started the Wine Word of the Week probably 2 weeks ago. No, just kidding. We started maybe 25 or 30 episodes in, something like that, but never done blending. Do you want to say what blending is so you can actually get your voice working?
I can't even see
Oh,
this.
okay. Well, you'll look at your notes.
Well, blending is the art of combining multiple wines from different grape varieties, vineyards, or vintages, so even years, to create harmonious and complex final wine showcases the winemaker's style and vision.
Yes.
So how do you approach blending
Exactly.
wines?
It's so funny. Blending, everybody likes to do it. That's the most exciting part of our job. You know, we taste wine every day, all day, which is great. It actually is a job. It's a real job.
For those who think, how hard can this be?
Right.
It is absolutely a job.
Yes, it's a job. But blending always starts. We actually built a specialty room in our facility. We used to blend in the lab, which a lot of wineries do. And we learned really quickly that the lab's on the same exact air ducts as the break room is. And so we were not able to blend a lot in the lab. You know, some guy nuked up some fish and it was over.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So we built a special room with this.
I'm getting tater tots.
Yeah. It's had a hint of like low tide, you know, and so we built a room specifically. We call it the sensory room. That has its own airflow, and so we can sit in there all day, and it's quite fun. We can bring in 10 samples of wine. We could bring in 40 samples of wine. It doesn't really matter. It matters for time, but you know, if you bring in 40 samples, you have to do it multiple times. And so it's really fun to just sit there and go, what does 3% Petit Verdot do? What does 1%, you know, Petit Syrah do? Other countries don't really need to do it as much as America. Other countries, they field blend. So they literally pick the grapes together. You know, if you're in Bordeaux, you know, you're picking some Cab. At the end of Cab, there's going to be some Petit Verdot, a couple of rows, maybe a row or two of Merlot. And they pick it all together, and it's blended. You know, mission accomplished.
Field blended.
Yeah,
it cuts out a lot of time, but it also cuts out any form of pivoting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You can't unblend it. Weirdly
Right.
enough, you know, once it's blended,
Kind of makes sense.
yeah. And and those are more traditional wines for people that have, the wines aren't called Cab, they're called Bordeaux, or Rye Pink, whatever you want to do.
Right.
But in America, there's not a lot of field blends being done. Wineries will do a field blend here, a field blend there. Browne Family's done field blend before for the taste room. But really, to know what you know, we wait for at least a year before we start making these blends. So it's well into it. The wines are aged. We know what direction they're headed before we really get into that part of it.
2 weeks ago, Shelley and I, for Open That Bottle Night, opened 2 wines that we both blended ourselves at North Star.
Yeah, that's right.
A year ago.
Yeah.
And they said...
Did we like them?
We loved them. Okay. They were fantastic. As an aside, we haven't had them yet. Yeah. But it's funny because Jan, who it was that last year, middle of January,
when
where we hit sub 50. We were 15 below here in Coeur d'Alene, but
and we're out in the vineyard.
-8. Yeah, we're out there. We were the only ones blending, so we kind of got Jan's attention.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. And
you betcha.
You're stripped down to just a microcosm of what your day is like.
Yes.
Okay? But we get an idea.
It's still a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
There is, and if... I don't know how many wines you're blending. They probably brought out
5.
Five.
Yeah,
I just saw the Noble
barrels.
Bordeaux or something.
And a couple of Red Mountain. There was Walla Walla in there.
There was no Malbec.
No Malbec.
Yeah.
No, it was Merlot, Cab Sauv. There was a Petite.
There were 3 Merlots.
Yeah,
it was just a North Star. That's the thing.
But it was very interesting,
Oh yeah.
because you taste through them, and
I
now
was
you
like,
have
this
to.
is boring. So then I added just like 3% more Petit Verdot, like you were saying.
Yes.
To make it 5, and it made a lot of difference.
It really does. It's unbelievable what small percentages can change. And sometimes you think you can take 2 wonderful wines, blend them together. It's horrible. They ruin each other. They don't complement. You can take wines that you would never, ever release on their own and blend them, and it makes a wonderful thing. It's amazing what some wines, especially wines with faults, can really add to a finished wine.
And it's interesting. Shelley is not a big fan of 100% Petit Verdot.
Yeah.
Or Petit Syrah in that regard.
They're big.
They are, and they're tannic.
Yeah.
But I always think it's kind of fun to give them a try.
Oh, yeah.
So you can taste them in other blends. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all about, we go back to palate, right? Conditioning our palate. And,
yes.
And, if you're going to... I got in a lot of trouble down in Paso Robles because we went to Tablas Creek, where they had all these great limestone rocks out in front. I'm like, huh.
No, that wasn't.
It wasn't Tablas Creek?
You went to Turtle Rock and did that.
One of the 2.
Were you putting them in the pocket?
No, I licked it. She's like, are you kidding me?
It was there just.
Oh, it was Turtle Rock. That's right. And I'm like, I want to know what mineral. I want to know this.
Yeah.
Okay, because
now we're gonna have to sanitize it.
Yeah. I mean, come on. But going back to the very old school of Gary Vaynerchuk and Wine Library TV, when he would be on Conan O'Brien and licking rocks or eating into a green bell pepper or all of this cotton candy, right? There's so many different levels and layers of wine. How do you know unless Shelley will bring up something that's like, I'm getting a swamp on this, and it's not a bad thing. It's just what she was growing up catching frogs in the swamp up in Canada, right? That's what our experiences are leading to all of this stuff.
Yes. Absolutely, and the more, I would highly encourage everybody. The most simple thing in the whole world is just getting the wine wheel, and people, it's free. You can buy, get printed off anything called the wine wheel, and it has spices and smokes and woods, and it really helps educate you because you smelled it the whole time. You just couldn't verbalize it,
exactly.
Or you couldn't put the words. In Napa, what was it? The wine store they had there at the Oxbow years and years and years ago. whatever it was, world of wine. I think they had an actual wheel that was about half the size of this table.
Wow.
And it had cinnamon and fresh tobacco.
Is it scratch and sniff?
No, you could actually open it up,
nice.
They would change out the dried apricots. They would change it out,
Right.
And
Cool.
and you could sit, you could go, it didn't spin, it was like too big for that. But so you could go to each station and smell, what does cloves smell like? A lot of people have cooked with cloves maybe at some point, but maybe they haven't, and so, and so you can smell these things that you'll pick up in wines. And it's just, there's no better learning experience than something like just having a little bit of help.
People want to take the shortcut.
Yeah.
And they're like, again, Shelley and I'll be pouring at an event, and they're like, just pour me the best of what you have.
I hate that.
It's the worst. But I've heard it so often, I just say, okay, let's start down here. And they're like, is that the best? I don't know.
Find
You're
out.
going to have to tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're giving them the authority. You're giving them the it's okay for them to come up with something they like or don't like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. It's like, look, we're all going to have different tastes.
No, absolutely. And I can tell you that especially the start of a wine pouring session is a lot different than the finish of a wine pouring session. Because then it turns into, give me the cap, like...
A little
yeah, exactly.
Oh, man alive. Well, this has been a lot of fun. We have an entire sheet we didn't even go through, which just means, as Logan said, we're going to have to do this again. Some wines we enjoyed this week. We have the Neil Ellis Cabernet Sauvignon, Ravora Grenache, which, by the way, was fantastic. Patson Hall Chardonnay, Vapiano Cabernet Sauvignon, and a Diora Chardonnay. I don't know why I said that with my mouth this way. Some things coming up. Riesling Day, Thursday the 13th. Malbec Day on the 17th. And Marcelon Day, the 26th. What's coming up next week? More Washington wine. Because this is the middle of Washington Wine Month, the first. The next one is in August.
We need to find out why there's two.
No,
How did that come
no.
about?
Logan, voice from behind the screen. Yes, sir.
So they are often mixed together, melded as both Washington wines, but really the first March is Taste Washington Wine Month, which is an organization that focuses around on hospitality and focusing on obviously all things Washington wine. Washington Wine Month is August, and that is put on by the Washington Wine Commission, and obviously helps focus and promote on all of our agricultural background that we have in Washington.
There we go.
However, to me,
It's Washington.
taste
Yeah.
Washington wine. I mean, you
It's
can
another-
the semantics I don't even care about.
It's another excellent excuse to enjoy a glass of Washington wine.
Exactly. And we have had some epic shit tonight.
Agreed.
Okay? We would say here at Wine Time Fridays, first of all, John, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
me. And we will do this again. I hope it doesn't take 2 years. Number 2, do some epic shit. Just go out and live life. I can't say do epic shit. It's not rolling off my tongue.
Yeah. The
I'm
more
not
you
saying
drink, the
it.
better.
Well,
the
maybe.
easier it gets to pronounce. You know what I'm saying?
But go out and do something that you're not comfortable with. And I think that's the whole idea behind this. And number 3, drink some of these wines. They are fantastic. The QPR is off the charts good. And we highly endorse this. Another
And
thanks
thank you to our behind-the-scenes guest.
and
Just wait for the camera, Logan.
he's flipping us off right now, which is not very professional.
I just wish you wore pants or something.
I
you
know,
like,
right? I've
could've
had
got
this
on
whole
screen if
entire.
you wanted to get on
I know
screen, it was
this
that easy.
entire episode. I have like this is like Logan. Please sit down. Shelley right now is a little feeling awkward. Big thanks to today's sponsors: Ravora, CDA Gourmet, and Seasons of Coeur d'Alene. With a little bit of knowledge, and again, we brought you a lot of knowledge. By we, I mean John. With a little bit of knowledge, wine becomes a lot less overwhelming. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week with another Washington wine. Have a great weekend. And Shelley, taking us out.
Thank you for spending part of your day to wind down with Shelley and Phil. Remember, you can listen to any episode of the Wine Time Fridays podcast by visiting winetimefridays.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And join us on our Wine Time Fridays Facebook page, Instagram, or on Twitter, which is @VintageTweets, for daily conversation. Until next week, here's our toast to you. To health, wealth, abundance, gratitude, peace on earth, and of course, romance.